Samantala mga ka-RSP, accessible mental health care in the Philippines. Yan po ang isinusulong ng isang empowered woman na makakasama po natin ngayong umaga.
Makakapanayan po natin si Ms. Steph Naval, isang mental health advocate para pag-usapan ng mental health at kung bakit kailangan itong pahalagahan. Good morning, Ms. Steph.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Steph. It's still the month of March, so happy Women's Month din sa'yo.
Yes, happy Women's Month also to you all.
All right, Steph, to give an information about our main topic for today, paano mo ba isasalarawan or how can you briefly explain what mental health is and why it is important for us, including kaming mga kababaihan, tayong mga kababaihan, to prioritize mental health?
Yes, so for mental health, it's being the best version of yourself. It's keeping yourself healthy and strong in order to be the best version of yourself. Especially when it comes to women, there's still a stigma in which mental health is supposed to be kept private, or you shouldn't be showing emotions, or still be definitely reserved and put together in that sense. But then it's important for women to understand that it's okay to reach out to ask for help and to invest in their mental health so they may be able to thrive and be a lot happier and be satisfied and become the best version of themselves.
So, Steph, we all know that this is very important for each and every one of us. Can you share ano ba yung mga advice or what are the tips that an individual can do for him or her to take care of her mental health?
Yeah, so I think one of my favorite types of self-care practices would be the mindfulness meditation. So, for example, whether you want to listen to Spotify or may free naman sa YouTube in terms of mindfulness and self-care meditation, at the same time, also setting daily intentions. For example, for today, I'll be kinder to myself, or I will do a self-care activity today, or even helping your community in acts of service has shown to be able to boost one's mental well-being. So for example, when it comes to reaching out the community, doing donations, helping volunteer for anything, or even helping a family member to support them, or even giving a hug to a friend, these things can actually best help boost the mental well-being when you're helping your community. So these are some tips that I would recommend also for simple and easy things that you can do every day to be able to boost your mental well-being.
So Luisa, ngayong araw siguro, let's choose a person na pwede nating yakapin,
Yes,
ano? Nakaka-boost pala yan ng,
malaki pala
ng
yung
mental health, ano?
Malaki pala yung maiaambag na you know how to socialize with others.
At saka yung volunteerism, ano? It also helps pala boost our mental health. Alright, Steph, in your experience, how accessible ba yung mental health care services here in the Philippines? At meron ba mga challenges hampering such accessibility?
Oh yes, it's very difficult here in the Philippines. So for me, I was struggling with mental health concerns since I was 14. And over the past decade, I've been through the mental health care system, and it's extremely difficult. It's very difficult to access. Sometimes it's not easy to go to a psychologist, or there's not one necessarily near the area. Or even when it comes to financial concerns, people would have to cover payment for that type of healthcare. Even when it comes to religious and social cultural factors. So meaning that, for example, when people have mental health concerns, they say, oh, just pray about it na lang muna and everything. Although it's great to pray about it, but you definitely need to take the scientifically based types of steps to be able to invest in your mental health. So it would be reaching out to an expert, going to someone who's licensed to be able to help support you. So there are variety of concerns. So other than, let's say, the financial accessibility, there's also location-wise, being able to reach those certain areas, and even the stigma that would even serve as a barrier for one to reach out for mental health concerns. That's why it's very important to be able to talk about it and support the people who definitely need the mental health support.
So since we're talking about this, Steph, what do you think is the best and most specific examples of mental health care services that every Filipino should have access to? Yung pinakamadali para sa ating mga Pilipino na magkaroon ng access para maalagaan yung ating mental health.
Yes, I think that's a very good question to ask and very important for a lot of Filipinos to get to know about. So I currently work for, let's say, a company that provides accessible mental health care for workplaces, schools, and even also nonprofits. And what's great is that it's important to highlight community care for mental health care solutions. So it's not just a one-on-one individual type of setup, but really it's a whole community working on it. So that would include online therapy, the mental health 101 training. It also includes, let's say, family and couples therapy. So it's a very community-based type of mental health care that's very important, especially when Filipinos are very community-based as well. So these types of platforms will also include the assessment, mental health needs assessment, policy, and even program development, which is very important. So policies that need to be made internally in schools or even workplaces or communities that help support launch these mental health programs.
Okay. Steph, nabanggit mo na kanina na mayroon pa ring stigma, no, kapag pinag-uusapan itong issue ng mental health. How can we address such stigma? Paano ba natin ito mababawasan or totally ma-eliminate sa ating lipunan, Steph?
Yes, for stigma, it's very important for us to always talk about it. So it's great that we have conversations now about mental health. Education is very important. A lot of reasons why there is stigma or misconceptions about mental health was mainly because people also don't know. We were never really taught or educated about it when we were younger in school. One of the reasons why with the mental health law that was signed, it really advocates for it to be integrated in the educational system here in the Philippines about mental health and really getting to know what mental health is, how can we best support someone that's going through a mental health crisis, the different types of mental health concerns, how we can reach out for this care, who we can contact to. That's something that we can definitely that can definitely help on fighting the stigma. Normalizing mental health. So, for example, ways that we can do that is to do check-ins as daily part of conversation. So, asking how, let's say, family members or even colleagues or coworkers, how they're doing. Second, to not be afraid to mention therapy. So I've gone through therapy myself, and it was very life-changing. Highly recommend. It's at first can be scary, but it's very fruitful and definitely worth the investment for your mental well-being. And even when it comes to promote mental health discussions as much as possible, which is why I really appreciate the conversation we're having now.
Okay, Steph, lastly, you are such an empowered woman. Is there any message that you would like to say to the women and girls out there as we celebrate Women's Month?
Yes, so take care of your mental health. There are many empowering women out there who have passion to bring impact to their communities, but you cannot create sustainable change if you yourself isn't sustainable or aren't sustainable. So for all those women and girls out there, invest in supporting yourself so you can become that fearless Filipino who can also support other women as well.
Well, maraming salamat sa iyo, Steph. Thank you for having this conversation with us dito sa Rise and Shine Pilipinas. At mabuhay ka, and thank you for sharing your advocacy concerning mental health.
Muli, nakausap po natin ngayong umaga si Steph Naval, isang mental health advocate.